What's up, y'all? Reggie here. Another video for the You-Topian project. I'm gonna do this homegrown style in my kitchen. The same fashion that I've recorded a ton of other ideas, basically sipping a beverage and pacing my house or kitchen or whatever as I'm expounding ideas into my notes. So rest in peace to PNB Rock. For those who don't know, he's a pretty well-known rapper. Got murdered in Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in LA, California, during a robbery. Go on, Bew. All right, so now I was watching this video yesterday of him being interviewed by DJ Academics, because I watch DJ Academics and I watch Vlad almost religiously, pretty much every day. More on that later, if you think Vlad is the police or whatever, if you have criticism for that. But anyway, so I was watching PNB Rock being interviewed, which I don't know the time stamp and timetable, but it was pretty recent, if I'm not mistaken. It was within the last probably week or two, if I'm not mistaken, but it was recent. But it could have been a flashback, so don't quote me on that. But he was talking about, on this interview, now I was watching this interview and I didn't know that he had been murdered. And I only found that out like after the video completed. The algorithm started suggesting other videos, and in those other videos I started seeing other people obviously talking about it, and I was like, okay, I see why this video popped up, because the algorithm, you know, DJ Academics has a pretty huge channel. It's going to put it forefront first, etc. So, but in this interview, which had to have just taken place pretty recently, if I'm not mistaken, but it doesn't matter, PNB Rock is talking about how, if I'm not mistaken, he was in the general same area and he was being pressed and ran up on by some, I don't know, we'll say street related individuals who were kind of pressing him and being a little bit hostile, trying to, you know, figure out how he was going to react, et cetera, et cetera. Now he was with his, if I'm not mistaken, he said he was with his girl, the same girl he was with during this murder. And if I'm not mistaken, he was with his kids during that time. And he was talking about how, you know, he resisted their kind of wordplay to let them know that he's not going to be a soft target, so to speak. He's with the, and you know, it's not going to go down easy if you're trying to press me, like, what are we doing here, kind of thing. And he goes on to say, well, the mood kind of changed, and they wasn't really coming at me like that. I think they were just trying to test me to kind of see how I would respond if I was a bitch kind of thing. And he goes on to state how he still was like, we need to get out of here. So he told his girl, like, let's go, because, we don't know what's going to happen, whatever. Even though it had kind of de-escalated, he still was in his mind like, let's go. So he said that they got around, a few blocks around or whatever, and his girl was like, hey, let's stop over here, kind of like a, let's stop in this store or something. And he made the idea of like, she doesn't really understand what could have happened, or the kind of what really goes on in these streets around here, et cetera, et cetera. It's just ironic foreshadowing so many times with so many of these artists, so many of these people, how they kind of foreshadow their, like Mo3, literally talking about how nobody's chasing me, nobody's running, nobody's chasing after me to gun me down or something like that, he said. And he ends up dying a few weeks or days or whatever later after giving that interview and saying, nope, I'm not really worried about it. Nobody's out here trying to run me down, whatever. Many of y'all know what I'm talking about if you're into the YouTube videos. But so, it's just tragic. And I saw where JPrince spoke about it, right? Because a lot of people, to expound, I lost my train of thought. So while they were dining in Roscoe's, from what I can understand, and as I stated on my personal page, there could be some time discrepancy. And I think the pic might have been taken down now. So we're not sure when that pic was actually posted. It could have been posted after they left. But it appears that she posted a pic on her Instagram. And she probably had the auto location, whatever, on it that I think you can turn off to where it automatically gives the location of your pic, where you're taking your pic at, a check-in sort of thing on your phone. But on that pic, it shows the location. It has the little teardrop, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. So when people, and I'm telling you, these folks, for people who don't know, they are almost masterminds of following people, certain people who are either rich or et cetera, or the word just gets out and about real fast. So there's an idea of people saying, oh, that's his girlfriend. They're at Roscoe's. Let's go down there and rob this dude because we know he got money. He always flossing with chains, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that's only a theory. I want to state that. And we don't know it to be true. But it very well could be true. And this is the same thing that killed, basically, from what I understand, that got PopSmoke killed. For those who don't know, this guy was in Calabasas, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere out there, gated community type environment, flossing, was showing some of the stuff that he bought at the store or whatever earlier, and like didn't know that he was showing, what was it, like a tag or a receipt or something that was in that pic. Like if you would have stopped the video and zoomed in or something, you would have saw where he was at. Something along those lines. Folks came out, if I'm not mistaken, in the gated community, broke into his house, allegedly they were going to rob him or something like that. Who knows if he resisted or whatever. Very talented artist. Guy was on his way to be making millions upon millions of dollars. And he was killed. But I want to say, like, JPrince, who's a well-known older gentleman in the rap game, for some of y'all who know, right? He's well respected. So he made a post kind of condemning those people who were blaming this murder on the girlfriend posting that pic. Rightfully so, because, people want to witch hunt. People want to find something to blame, et cetera, et cetera. But my criticism is that he has this platform. I don't know how many followers he has on Instagram, but he has a large following and a platform. And he focuses on saying that he thinks the problem is you going out with jewelry on and not having proper security, et cetera, and how the wolves are going to want to eat. And Whack 100 mentioned this same kind of idea as well. And I just went off of criticism to that because I just feel like you have this opportunity to speak on this matter and to affect the minds of so many people. And you, instead of talking about the assailants and the culture of robbing people and shooting people and all this stuff just because you can, especially in certain states that make it easy for you to do that, you focus on that instead of criticize PNB instead of criticizing the people who killed him. I don't understand this. I mean, I understand it, but I think it deserves to be criticized. It is off target, and it's just very inaccurate as far as I'm concerned. With all due respect to JPrince. And just like in Chicago, right? They're making it easier. They just passed a law or a bill or whatever. They're going to make it easier for folks to keep doing this. This is part of the purge, folks. You think all these movies and stuff are just play. Look, shout out to my man, Big Steve. I inboxed you not too long ago. He's a local artist. Great. Hopefully I'm going to be working with him here in the near future. Great, smoky voice. His name is Big Steve. He's a big man, but he's got this voice that's like CeeLo Green, but it's even a little bit deeper. But him and his folks, I forgot the name of the crew, they make some real good music, right? And I just so happened, Steve, check this out. I was just so happen to be like, like I said in your inbox the other day ago, I'm like, keep sending me whatever, dude. I know I'm not responding to some of your stuff or whatever. I check everything out eventually. And I was just last night scrolling back, and I was like looking at some of the videos and stuff on YouTube, and I forgot it's one song. I can find it later. But, it mentioned the same sort of thing and some of the stuff that I plan on talking about. It's the one with the line in it where your guy's rapping and he says they're trying to, something along the lines of, they're trying to make the apex predator. We are creating a whole slew of people across the country, folks, who are relatively heartless and will kill you for nothing. And they're going to turn them loose, quote unquote, on you and the populace. And they're doing that now. They're already doing it now. And this is because it's easier to do this. And literally making people feel like you should utter the words, abolish the police, or the idea of defunding the police, et cetera, et cetera. I don't care how it was meant ever, et cetera, et cetera. And you saw what happened in Portland and these other places that went this route. Folks, you better wake up. And this is also why the people you vote for and the politicians you vote for, you and those politicians can be voting for and supporting evil, pure evil, and you don't even know it. Because people that put things in place to make it easier for these things to happen, that's what they're doing. All the way up to this idea from 2 years ago from everybody wearing a mask in America. Like, we saw this coming. Plenty of us saw this coming. So now you don't get alarmed when somebody walks into a store with everything covered. You don't reach. You don't get ready. If you could. But in a state like California and other states, and this is the thing, they still want you not to be able to protect yourself, or to have very limited ability to protect yourself, and or protect you and your homestead from a distance. That's when you get into more higher powered weapons, because you can't protect yourself from a distance with a freaking pistol. And then you give this logical fact, as I expound and go off the rails a little bit here. So then you get this logical fallacy list of things that people are programmed to say, like, you don't need that to hunt. Why do you need that? Why do you need that? It's about protecting yourself from a distance. And people know nothing about this. And you think that it can't and or will not go down to where you will need to do that, or be able to do that, or have your loved one be able to do that on your behalf, or your neighbor, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, and when it comes to that, it's the same thing as what happened with PNB Rock. The media, The machine, the system, et cetera, creates and has created these people. And also another thing I want to say, if you don't think, like, look, folks, it's 2022, almost about to be 2023. It's not 2010 anymore. It's not 2000. You're not playing GoldenEye. These these very realistic video games nowadays. If you think this stuff doesn't matter, sorry, folks, it's not Atari anymore. You can't sit here and say that these things don't matter and don't affect people. If they didn't affect people, you wouldn't play them. If they didn't affect people, you wouldn't listen to the music. You wouldn't play the songs. You wouldn't watch the movies. Everything you do and say has power. So if you think that seeing a bunch of realistic images of people dying and you being at the forefront of it and you making it happen and you on the phone taking out your the headset or whatever, taking out your aggressions, talking smack and saying a bunch of racist crap to somebody halfway across the country. And yeah, 99 out of 100 people, it's just a way to release anger, and it's, it's just cool. It's just playing a game. You're going to get, it's not a big deal. But what's the other guy from Clips? Like he said, he got out of the rap game. He got into religion because he said, I can't imagine how many people died listening while the assailant was doing a drive-by after smoking and listening to my music or playing it while he was doing a drive-by. Like, things matter. Words matter. What you do, say, and what you see matters. What you put out in the world matters. Every bit of it. And if you think these things don't matter, if you think that every 1 out of 100 people doesn't add up to be somebody that can go out and do something ridiculous because they don't give a crap anymore, because they're numb to the idea. If you think video games, movies, and music don't matter, then that's your business. But it does. Otherwise, you wouldn't play them. So anyway, this is a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but I just wanted to get it out there. And, rest in peace to PNB Rock, and my condolences to his family and everybody who experiences something like this. Like, every day that goes by, I feel blessed. And I feel blessed to live in the state that I live in also. And you better believe they're coming to try to change. They're coming to try to change your state. And it's a cancer. The machine, I'm not saying the machine is directly involved with this, but they are definitely indirectly involved. And when you have a state that makes it easier for things like this to happen, that's what it is. It's easier for stuff like this to happen. And why you shouldn't support it. It's just, anyway. Masked up. It's like I say about Halloween. So one time you open your door for strangers with a mask on. But anyway, shout out to everybody out there. I'll end the video right there. Peace, love, and light. Y'all be safe out there, and check you out on the next video.